In a hearing this morning on law enforcement shortages at the U.S. border, will Marjorie Taylor Greene showcase some show-stopping ignorance?
So if I'm coming from China or Africa or whatever country in the world, I got to get my plane ticket to Mexico and then schedule my appointment so I can come into a port of entry.
Last I checked, Africa was a continent, not a country. And I don't know how many Africans are really entering in through the southern border, but that's just me. Welcome into TYT Overruled. I am your host, Adrienne Lawrence. The House Oversight and Accountability Subcommittee on National Security, the Border, and Foreign Affairs addressed the perceived border crisis post-Title 42. That's the Trump-era ban on border migration on account of the coronavirus. Well, during that hearing today, in addition to referencing the country of Africa, Marjorie Taylor Greene made the most bizarre argument.
Here in America, natural disasters, talk about climate change. This is the fourth largest country in the world. We have an extremely diverse climate. We have a wide range of natural disasters. 97 natural disasters occurred in 2021. I don't think this is very safe for migrants here in America. We had 97. How many are they having in their country? These natural disasters include wildfires, heat waves, droughts, flash floods, winter storms, cold waves, tropical cyclones, and on and on and on. But yet they need to come to our country because of climate change? That doesn't make a lot of sense. It's not a safe country either, by the way. In America, there were 1,313,000 violent crimes in the U.S., and that was in 2020. I can't imagine what the numbers are since then, since crime has come up. I think that you need better reasons if you're going to try to let a bunch of people in the U.S. using a handy-dandy app where you don't track imports than climate change, because that is not an excuse people are buying. Thank you.
Now, where does one go from there? Well, I can tell you that the Congresswoman from Georgia went from there to going off on the witness on American exceptionalism.
Mr. Nunes-Nito, why can't you tell us how many people are coming in the United States when you have a handy-dandy little app that you are tracking? You know the numbers. This is the American government. We put a man on the moon. We're able to count. Why can't you tell us how many so-called migrants are coming into our country?
So we do update the public and Congress on the number of people who are processed through the CBP-1 application, and I believe my testimony notes that since May 12th, we've been averaging about 1,070 individuals a day using the CBP-1 application, which again, as Chief Huffman noted, is just a scheduling tool that allows individuals who may wish to claim asylum to access the ports of entry as the Immigration and Nationality Act provides.
Fortunately, while the right had nothing but nonsense, racism, xenophobia, and other derailing dog whistles to offer, well, the left came back with some actual facts. Here's California Representative Robert Garcia on his take on what this conversation is really about.
I know that some people here have been openly rooting for a post-Title 42 crisis as a way to score political points, but let's be very clear, that crisis did not happen, and this hearing is an attempt to manufacture one. Now, as has been stated, Border Patrol encounters are at the lowest point since 2020. That is a fact. Those are statistics that are widely accepted. They have been reviewed by our departments. They've been put out as information for us to assess, and I want to thank you all for your work with that. And it's also true that these numbers should be not celebrated, but welcomed as progress in our ability to control and secure the border.
Also, Brooklyn Representative Dan Goldman was not afraid to call out the conversation that wasn't happening.
Effort and oversight and legislation needs to correct, yet we are not doing that. And when you hear my colleagues on the other side of the aisle talk about all the problems with fentanyl and with gotaways and with smuggling, you know what they don't ever talk about? They don't ever talk about the tremendous exportation of American-made guns to Mexican cartels that give them the power and authority to control the fentanyl trafficking into this country. My colleague from Texas just listed a whole litany of things that are the problems we're having at the border and never mentions guns. H.R. 2, Mr. Perry, was a immigration border security bill. It doesn't mention guns. It doesn't mention gun trafficking. It doesn't mention guns going from America to Mexico. If you want to talk about immigration reform and you want to fix at the border, come talk to us. Let's be real about how we can actually fix the border.
There is so much vitriol for migrants here in the U.S., but not enough acknowledgement about how the U.S. has destabilized many of the countries these migrants are coming from by fueling coups, pillaging resources, exploiting the people. So I think it's people like Marjorie Taylor Greene who are very much the problem. And it's not that they do not know how the U.S. contributes to the problem, but they're unwilling to acknowledge it. They just don't care. That being said, what do you think it would take for members of the right to recognize that migrants and immigrants are extremely important to the United States and should be valued as people and treated as such? We know what's going on in Florida right now. Well, you let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like and follow buttons, and thanks for watching.